we are on Ellen's question. Said, I wonder if you can give me some alternatives on the following, or some advice on the following alternatives for strapline or general description of what I do. Right, on the landing page above the fold, Neo Dance, Authentic True You. Then I've been playing around with these different descriptions: somatic dance journey to awaken self-love, somatic dance to awaken self-love, align to purpose, actualize your potential. Number 3, transformational life coaching through somatic dance. Number 4, transformational dance for visionary change makers, awaken to your higher self, connection and creative flow. Okay, so Ellen, where are you coming from?
I'm in Stroud in Gloucestershire.
Oh, you're in Stroud. Yeah,
I
right. I'll be there
am.
with it. I'll be there
Yeah.
with a workshop soon. Wonderful. Well, I hope we'll get to see you there. So okay, it's just tough love on this call. I'm trying to I'd rather see you struggle here than out in the world, spending money on Facebook ads and such. Okay, so what to say about this? I would just say it generally lands as general. It lands as I've seen this a million times before. It doesn't feel grounded in any particular situation, any particular island A or island B. And it feels fairly heavy on the jargon. And jargon is something we all want to be careful of. And we all slip into this. Why? Because we're just, you know how it is. You read what academics write and you can't understand a fucking thing. It's so confusing because they use words that normal humans don't use. Yeah. They use words that like it's agency. Who the hell used the word agency growing up? Paradigm. The hell does this mean? There's all these terms. And so, of course, in the holistic and coaching world, we got our own versions of all of this. And so when we use that kind of language, there's nothing recognizable in it, in other words. You see this also in if you go to any rituals or ceremony, oftentimes people's language is so lofty that it's hard to connect with versus very rooted, visceral, real language. And so in our marketing, we want to do that too. So my question would be then, what if you had to sum it up in like, the people who come to you in 3 words, what's the most painful thing they're struggling with?
Perhaps some kind of emotional stuckness.
Okay. Is that what they say when they come to you? They say,
No,
I
of
feel
course not.
emotionally.
Could be all sorts of things.
Yeah.
Yeah, often they might want some clarity in their lives. They might feel, they need more freedom in their bodies, which is obviously because there's something there in their minds.
So let's just
Yeah, there's
pause
always
over those.
something going on for them personally, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. But in marketing, it's like, is there something going on in your life doesn't land? But if we say,
No.
is this specific thing going on? It does. They want more freedom in their bodies. My guess is you want them to have more freedom in their bodies, but they're not coming to you saying, boy, I just wish I had more freedom in my body. Um, they're probably not saying that in those words. Maybe they are. I mean, it's Stroud, so you never know. Okay, this could be, but yeah. And then that they don't know where they're going in their life is a sort of general human thing. We all have that on a daily. I don't know where I'm going in my life. Why did I walk into this room? I was trying to get something. What was I getting? It's we lose track of our direction often. So it's helpful to give a very specific situation around this. Like they're losing a sense of direction. And how do they know? What's just happened in their life? What's the specific scenario they're in? where this has become clear. I mean, is this about career? Is it about their marriage? Is it about all of it? What's the breaking point? I just want to hammer this one over and over again today. Okay, so this is helpful. When we're looking at a breaking point for what I would call Island A, Island A is where the symptoms they don't like. Island B is there's some result they're craving, right? Island A there's two parts to a breaking point. Number one, it's the point where they realize that something must change. No longer that it just should change, it could change, it just has to. They've hit that point on their own. This isn't something we're trying to manufacture. We're not trying to punch the bruise, stick in the knife, they've just hit that point on their own. They don't need our help with that. Number one, it must change. Number two, they've realized that they need help. Can't do it on their own. That's a really critical thing. If those two things aren't there, I think it's probably not really, it's not a good time for them to show up. So what are those things in their life that are happening that bring them to you?
Well, frustration, for example.
About what?
Could be their life path, could be their relationships, could be their inability to express themselves.
Yeah. So this is the hard work. I wish I had the wand and I could just ding. But this is the tough work, is choosing one. Because here's the deal with niching, as I understand it, and others may have other opinions on it, so I don't want to sound too high and mighty like I know everything about niching, but this is how it seems to me. If we get known for anything at all, and we develop any kind of a reputation, it's a miracle. Like, people noticed us. Even people being aware of us is sort of, beyond our community, is kind of wow. And people have me on their radar. That's one. But number two, you're going to be known for something. This idea that we don't have a niche is, I think, misses the mark. Because my definition of niche, anyways, it's what you're known for. Yeah, it's just a role in the community that you want to be known for. That's your niche.
So sorry, sorry to interrupt you. I've just got two questions that just popped up in my head that I'm sure might be relatable. One is it waste of time even using the word transformation? And two, someone has told me, a marketing woman said, oh, you've got to decide between men or women because it's different language. And I'm like, yeah, but I don't want to exclude men from dance. Far from it.
Yeah. Let me finish my thread and then
Sorry.
yeah, no, it's all right. Then I'll get to those. So you already are, everyone on this call, you're known for something around your work by the people who know you. Of course, most people don't know you. Most people don't know me. But by the people who know us, they know you for one thing. They don't go around saying, oh my God, Ellen's amazing. She does this and this and this. And on Sunday, she does this. She also has this hobby. She has a great collection of these things. They're not saying that. To remember us, they kind of have one thing. My colleague Mark Walsh was in Lisbon, and he had this experience where he was out at dinner, and he met a bunch of new people. You know how it is when you're traveling, and you meet a lot of new people, and even it's hard to remember their names during the meal, let alone after. It's hard to remember what they say during the meals, and it's just gone. But here's the dynamic you realized and noticed was the people who were doing multiple things. Like they had 5 different projects on the go. He didn't remember any of them. The people who were doing one thing, that's all they talked about was one thing. He remembered all of them. So it's just, we get known for one thing. Okay, so then the question is what you're known for working for you? Is it bringing you the kind of people you want? To me, that's the only criteria. And if it's working for you, I mean, wow, beautiful. You don't need my help. Okay, but to this question of the word transformation, yes, generally I would cut it because everything's transforming. It's a kind of one of these Smurf words, it just means everything. Like we're all transforming right now. Every breath is a transformation. You're turning oxygen into carbon dioxide. Time is moving. It's just so it becomes hard to pin down, and we need to really pin it down when we're niching. It's got to be so clear. We don't want to write down like, are you wanting to transform? And somebody says, well, maybe. I mean, but it's not. Well, it depends what it is. But I mean, generally, I think I'm open. I mean, but we don't want that kind of response. It's just, yes, I'm on that island. Yes, I want to be on this island. End of discussion. Does that mean they're going to work with us? Absolutely not. It just means that now, if we say that, we have their attention in such. So yes, transformationally for everybody, on its own, I don't think cuts it as a word. And then choosing between men and women, no, you don't have to choose. I go over this in my which webinar? I'm just about to release these two on niching, but if you imagine a bullseye with concentric circles, and I'll just do this quickly because I do longer versions of this elsewhere, but the bullseye worth 10,000 points is this is the issue, meaning island A, island B, what's the problem? What are they craving? That's 10,000 points. That's what you want to hit. For 1,000 points, you've got what are the musts? For all of us with our clients, there are certain must-haves. Like if they don't have this, we can't work with them. I'm going to take you skiing, but you have to bring your own skis. That's a must. If you don't have your own skis, I'm sorry, it's not going to work. Yes, I work with clients, but they need to commit to a half-hour daily practice of this certain thing. If you're not willing to do that, then it's just no. It's not a fit. Number three, there are what we call psychographics, and these are the internal things, the values, the worldviews, the scenes that they're a part of, the identities they hold for themselves, the communities they belong to, their philosophy about the world. Vegan and anarchist are psychographics. Then there's the demographics like men, women, income, or ethnic background. These are things usually you can tell by looking at the outside. Habits. I could hire a private detective to follow you around and tell me about your habits. I mean, marketers, of course, do this all the time. They know it with Facebook. They know exactly what our habits are. And then they feed us ads that simultaneously infuriate and delight us because we're like, well, God damn it, that is what I want. Thank you, Facebook, for that targeted ad, but also curse you for spying on me. So, and then outside of that are the kind of general qualities, like they're nice people, um, they're humorous, they've whatever, and that's one point. But it's 10,000, 1,110. So you see the demographics are just 10 points. It's not that big a deal. So you don't have to choose on a demographic. And in fact, if you lean on the demographics too hard, I just think you end up with too few points. The thing to focus on is the bullseye. 10,000 points. What's the issue? Because you can win the game just with that one, but you can't win the game on demographics. And it's harder to find people based on demographics. That's just difficult to do. Why? Because people hang out based on the psychographics. They hang out based on, hey, I'm queer. We all hang out together. We have a night at the bar where we go to the bar together. Hey, I'm a right wing, libertarian. Groovy. They hang out together. It's but we don't hang out based on, hey, I'm 6'4". Who's with me? Nobody. Nobody's with me. Nobody cares. That's not the connection point for people. Yeah. Does that help, Ellen?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks. I think it's like you say, it's a long process, and
Yes.
yeah.
I would recommend digging into the puttering prep, the marketingforhippies.com/puttering prep work. Because there's almost certainly something there. And the big one to think about is this wound piece. Like, what is it that I've struggled with?
What was the name? You have mentioned a book before of that title. Who is it? Frank somebody, was it?
I don't recall a book by
Oh,
that
I
title.
thought you mentioned it, something like your wound is your biggest whatever.
No, what I'd said is Jeffrey Van Dyke, it might have been. He didn't write a book about it, but he was the guy I got it from, with this idea that our deepest wound is the doorway to our truest niche, or often. It's not always, but often. And that one is really worth reflecting on.
Okay.
But Yeah, keep
Yeah,
going. Keep going.
thank you.
Very welcome.
I just want to say hi, Helen. Hi,
Hi,
Helen. I'm a
Iris.
fellow Stroudy dancer. I'm in France right now, but it's nice to see
Are
you.
you? That's nice. No wonder you're sitting outside.
It's fucking freezing, excuse my language. Really nice to see you. We dance together, so thanks. It
Yeah.
was nice to listen.
Hi.
Look at that.